So I'm going to be doing a comparison with the Galaxy S23 versus the iPhone 13 mini. Now, I've been using this S23 for about a week and a half or so, and honestly, it is a cool phone. It's just a little bit of a bummer that it's not too much of a difference from the Galaxy S22. Now, in terms of design, it's a little bit different on the back because the cameras aren't connected, but the screen size is basically the same. The only real difference is if you go from the S22 to the S23 is that the processor is obviously going to be a little bit faster, battery is a little bit bigger, and the front-facing camera is a little bit better. But honestly, other than that, you know, kind of the same thing. Now, on the flip side, I love the iPhone 13 mini. You know, Apple decided that they weren't going to release a mini series when the 14 came out, but there is hope that they're going to bring the mini series iPhone back because they're not even sure if they're going to release another iPhone SE. And, you know, I love it. Now, some of the big differences here are obviously, you know, the screen sizes. The iPhone 13 mini's got a 5.4-inch display compared to the 6.1-inch, you know, on the S23. So, you know, when it comes to watching video and gaming, you know, obviously a bigger screen is always better, so the S23 is going to win there. But I would say the benefits to the 13 mini is that it's a little bit smaller, meaning that it's a little bit easier to hold one-handed. You know, you can throw it in your back pocket a little bit easier. And as far as phone photography and video recording go, I am going to lean towards the S23 in that category, but, you know, the 13 mini is by no means bad. Now, one thing I will say about the S23 is that, you know, the battery life, just from using it just for a little bit, it's really good. It's got a built-in 3900 mAh non-removable battery compared to the 2430H non-removable on the 13 mini. So when it comes to battery life, and this is coming from experience, you know, the S23 definitely holds its own a lot better. And lastly, you know, you got prices on these phones. The S23, obviously being the newer phone right now, it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but not by much. You know, the 13 mini is still a pretty expensive phone. I would say, depending on where you're buying it, you're looking between like $125 to $200 price difference, you know, meaning the 13 mini is going to be a little bit cheaper. And, you know, lastly, you got to figure, do you prefer, you know, iOS or Android? You know, that's kind of the thing. If you're already using an iPhone, then it makes sense to stay with iOS because it is a hard switch, but, you know, it is what it is. Okay, the next thing I would like to do is how I usually do it. I'm going to run some video so you could hear the sound quality, see some of that. Then we're going to also do some gaming on both phones. If you'd like to learn more about these, we'll have some great resources directly below in the description. For now, let's run it. Okay, next up, I'm going to get into a gaming performance comparison playing Into the Dead 2. I'm going to start up top with the S22, come down to the iPhone 13 mini. Then we're going to wrap up, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on which phone makes more sense to buy.